Okay, we're up for another video today, and seems to be the most popular videos I have are about Raspberry Pis and Amigas. Well, I've got more Raspberry Pis than Amigas. This one's a fairly simple build today. I'm just taking a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, a 2017 model. I'll be installing a micro SD card after I flash the image, and then putting a heatsink kit on it. And I'll be probably laser cutting some sort of a case for it. This one's going to a friend of mine for a media center. I also happen to have an official Raspberry Pi power supply, which seems quite hefty actually for its size. It saves me a lot of engineering trouble. And there is a little tiny surface mount capacitor hiding around on my desk. I've been stripping some components off a board with a new reflow gun. So let's get started here. So I already have one that I use regularly, and it's set up for pretty much the way I like it. So I'm running a disk image, I'm reading that off. This will be kind of fun because the last cumulative update that Windows 10 did killed all my micro SD card writers, or read writers. In any case, I can read a disk image. I don't know if I can write it yet. We'll see. And of course, the main media center system that I use is not in any kind of case. It's just sitting up here out in the open. Now, if I'm a bit snuffly, that's because it's the wrong time of year to be doing this. But in any case, let's get this open. And we'll get these heat sinks out. Now these look like the heatsink kits that were issued with some of the first versions, and I think we may have a redundant heatsink here. Now the interesting bit here is that we're going to have to get the double-sided tape off. Now I'm sure that one is going to fit on the CPU there, so we need to get this off. Can you guys see what I'm doing here? I'm using my little pliers here, and I'm just picking up the corner and peeling it off and sticking on. Can you see me about to stick that on? We can, I think. This is where you get it cockeyed, and forevermore you look at it in horror because it was on cockeyed. Let's do this for the next small one. Peel that off. I'm going to try and get all my heatsink fins running in the same direction, just because it looks cool. Alright. I hear the pitter-patter of my apprentice's feet in the hallway. That's a sign that I'm about to get disturbed. Now, I do know out of from practice that this unit here gets kind of warm. I don't entirely know what that is, but I'm sure I can look it up. And our cumulative update strikes again. It's had a read error right near the last sector, so I think we're going to have to use another machine. But in any case, let's have a look at these heat sinks. So heat sinks are populated nicely. Not that they're strictly necessary with these because of the thermal regulated system, but it does help stabilize its performance just a little bit. So let's continue. Okay, so while we wait for the SD card to read and write a clone on my financial manager's computer, that's her name, because it has a different cumulative update and the card readers still work on it. So we're running that at the moment. In the meantime, I'm taking a moment to unpack the SD cards, and we'll put these extra little slots away in my card holder. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with me, I actually designed these SD card holders for Thingiverse. It's a bit of a basic design, but it seems to be wildly popular, and it spawned a lot of different offshoots and different designs, and this is pretty well stackable. You can make as many layers as you like, and even got a little card reader down the bottom there. These have been pretty handy actually. I've even got a slot for the little SD card holders for the really early Raspberry Pis in there as well. But yeah, you can print yourself one of those. I'll stick the link in the description as well if you want to make one of them. And I'm hoping at some point the Chinese will rip these off and make some injection molds, and then I can buy a whole bunch of them cheap and sell them on for markup. Anyway, yes, we're still waiting for these cards to write, so we'll be back soon enough. Alright, well, the financial manager's computer has fallen to the same cumulative update and killed all the card readers. So I'm down to my Windows 7 notebook that I've upgraded to an SSD, and the battery's going flat. So let's go and plug that in and get these cards working. Okay, so I've dug up from this source here, which is on GrabCAD. I found a case already designed, saving me a lot of time doing it myself. But there is a bit of cleaning up I need to do on this. Geez, those holes look really chunky. Let's change our view res. There's my apprentice in the background. Yes, I want fast zooms. Let's just mac this out. That looks better. Right. Now our corners actually look round. I'm going to have to piss these line segments off because my laser cutter will want to cut a big hole where they are. I might just strip them out for now. And this, the green, it won't etch. It's just going to end up cutting a hole out of that whole thing. So I've got to do a little bit of editing here, and I also need to check something really important. I have 3mm MDF, so how thick is this? 0.118 of an inch. Right, so a yank probably drew this. So I need to figure out what 0.118 of an inch is, but I think it's probably going to be about 2.5mm off the top of my head, or 2.78 if I recall correctly. Let's find Google and ask them. Alright, so I was a smidgen off, but it looks like here that 0.118 is basically 3mm MDF for me. So that will work fine with the stock I've got. I don't need to do much more to that side of things. So let's get cracking. Okay, so once again we've got this error. I'm starting to think I've got a problem with the micro SD card. I guess I'll just start from a fresh image. Alright, so sorry about the sun in the eyes. I I'm just deciding to get lazy now. I'm going to use the Librelec installer program. I actually haven't used this before. This is something new. I'm used to just writing a disk image directly, but this will apparently download the disk image, write it, and do all the other stuff for me. Although currently it thinks there's 931 gig on the floppy drive. I can hear the floppy drive ticking away in the background here, so yeah, I don't think that's right. So let's just select this and get it happening. So we're running away to download. It's a good day on Australia's NBN. I'm getting 1 megasecond. I haven't seen that in a while. It must be that all the kids are off doing real stuff instead of playing games on a Sunday arvo. But yeah, when this is ready, we'll run that disk image. So yet again, I'm experiencing a write error. Thank you, Windows 10 Update. You're very helpful. Okay, so Windows 7 is handling this alright on my little laptop. So yeah, we might actually get somewhere. Okay, we appear to be done. Let's see how this all works. I've got everything set up in my test area that we can't see because the lighting is horrible right now. I'm about to move our power connector across to our new board, and we'll see it here in a moment. We're fired up. Let's see, test screen popped up. Alright, that's looking good. And we're doing the partition resizing and all the rest. Alright, we're going to wait for all of this to muck around and do all that stuff, and then I'm going to set up a few bits and pieces, and you can see me in the background here as well. Yeah, we'll set up like some SSH passwords and some standard plugins, and we'll see how it works. And that also means I can go and laser cut a case while that's happening. Right, so what I'm doing now is I'm running the backup plugin and just backing up my setup on the old system, just still here. And hopefully with a new one I can just load this file across and restore the setup, saving me many hours of mucking around with all the TV plugins and extra repositories and whatnot. So yeah, I'm just going to let this run for a while. Alright, we're looking at our new Raspberry Pi here. I've gone to install the backup app and it's told me it can't install a repository. Yay, fresh OS out of the box and stuff's going wrong. Welcome to Linux. Okay, about 3 or 4 reboots later, I've had to attempt to install this, let it put some repositories in and some supporting programs, restart it, and then reattempt the install. So it took, I think, about 4 reboot install attempt cycles in total, but we're on. Time to find our backup files. Alright, now that backup is installed, I've checked up on what our IP address is, rather than going down the figure it out myself path. Whoa, we have a lot of sun in the eyes again. Right, we have our backup files off the old one, and we're about to start a new SSH session here, and then we'll get everything transferred across from there. Well, we have our SSH terminal up, and we're currently running our backup. We've got 14,532 files to upload, and then we should be able to commence the restore of the backup settings. I know this all seems very lengthy, but it's still much quicker than having to do all this manually all over again every time I have to set one of these things up. Alright, we've got that humongous load of files transferred, and backup is about to commence the restore, telling me the versions of Kodi are different. Well, we know that. It might screw up, we don't know. We can always redo the image from scratch. So let's see how this works. Alright, a couple of incompatibilities, but overall, let's see if everything's gone through. Aha! Most of them have, so I'm going to do a bit of testing, and I'll probably need to set YouTube up to an account, but yeah, let's have a play around. Alright, well here it all is in its glory. We have our Raspberry Pi 3 in our box with our heatsinks attached, and we have the remote control receiver there, And the remote control has arrived. It's looking good. So all we need to do now is power this up and hook it up to a HDMI lead. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing that on camera because that's going into my mate's house. So that's pretty much it for this project. I hope you like the snazzy little design I came up with off the top of my head at short notice. This box is actually a modification of somebody else's. I'll have to dig up the link and figure out where I got it from. But yes, if I do that, I'll post the link. If I don't, drop me a comment and ask me and I'll dig it up for you. Anyway, I hope that's been a fun one. We'll see you all on the next video.